Hi everybody, welcome to Lunch Break Live. This is Lisa Karlan and I am so honored to be here with the amazing Olympic-hopeful Krishna Curry. Krishna, tell us about what we're going to do today.
Hi, so you caught me on my lunch break in between clients and training, and we're going to make just a quick and easy Asian stir fry today.
That sounds great. Let's just look at these ingredients.
Yeah, so we have, you could do broccoli, but this is just baby broccoli, broccolini, garbanzo beans. They came from a can, BPA free, onion, little garlic, ginger, and I love peppers. And then, of course, your rice.
And you're using the organic California sushi rice.
Yeah, I like that the Lundberg brand quite a bit. But you can, like the 365 brand tastes pretty good too.
Yeah, the Lundberg brand I think is the one that's known to have the least amount of arsenic in it.
Oh yeah, there was something else too that I read about it that made me really like them. So, and then I'd already cooked some.
And Oscar and the amazing Gwenna Hunter from Vegans of LA is joining us. Hey Gwenna, how are you? Glad to see you have the time to join us today. So we'll get going. Go ahead and start making the recipe, and then we'll ask you about your history.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
But let's start cooking first.
So I cheated a little bit and went ahead and started the rice. I just followed the instructions and made enough servings for two. So it's just in there cooking, and all the water's almost boiled out, so it'll be nice and fluffy by the time we're done. And then I'm just going to go over, I don't really use any oil just because I'm going to be working out, and oil for me can be a little hard on my stomach. So I have my minced garlic already.
Okay.
So I'm just going to add that to this cooking pan here. And then and that's like just one little clove. And then I'll shave in some ginger.
And you're just using a vegetable peeler to shave the ginger.
Yeah, I don't have any fancy cooking tools. So yeah, I'm just shaving a little bit of ginger in there. It just helps the belly, because I usually do either tempo runs or interval sessions on Wednesdays, so I don't like anything heavy in my stomach.
And oil is amongst the most calorically dense food on the planet at 4,000 calories a pound.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I love it. Like I love eating like coconut oil in some cases, but typically not before workouts. And so here I'm just gonna mince up some onion.
So Paige Parsons-Roche has joined us, Sarah Siegel, and the amazing Tracy Childs from San Diego. Hey Tracy. Tracy is rocking it as one of our newest contributors.
This is about like half an onion, and I'll probably add more, but just to get it cooking.
So this is a fast, easy meal that you can actually make on your lunch hour.
Exactly, like as long as you already have the ingredients at home. Yeah, you just grab it up, dice up what you need. I typically for lunch sometimes eat on the go, and whenever I can, I try to come back home and eat lunch. I don't microwave food at work or anything, so sometimes I have to rely upon like the hot food options at Erewhon or Whole Foods for lunch, but
they tend to have a fair amount of oil.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't know what goes into those foods or what they're preparing it with, so it's just better if you can eat at home. So I'm just doing like half of each of these peppers, and I already wash them off. Definitely wash off all your vegetables. And then like with the broccoli, like I try to, like when I purchase it from the store, go ahead and just prepare it and keep it prepped in my fridge, so that way it's just easy to go to, because like when you get it, it's like they're huge, you have to cut them down, you have to clean off the leaves, clean off if there's any little critters or dirt or something. So when I purchase it, I just try to like clean it immediately and then store it in the fridge, that way I can get to it.
Yeah. Sarah Siegel likes your electric skillet. She wanted to know where you got it.
Oh gosh, I think it came from Macy's. It was a gift actually. Last Thanksgiving, my boyfriend's mother, like, we like took up all the stoves in the kitchen cooking Thanksgiving dinner, and she was just like, "Oh gosh, you guys have a small kitchen. Let me get you this electric skillet."
Yeah, it's like having an extra burner.
Yeah, I love it, and I like it for like the vegetables too. Just it just cooks them really nicely without them, because I love to leave just a little bit of crispiness to my vegetables, so I can keep as much nutrients as possible.
And what you're doing is you're basically rough chopping,
Yeah.
not fine dicing,
No.
rough chopping. It took you not very long to do it.
Mm-mm.
And this looks like broccolini,
Yeah, broccolini. I love both broccoli and broccolini, but
and you have the stems in here.
yeah, well, see, they come so long, so I actually cut off quite a bit of the stem, and then took off all the leaves and most of the flowers, just for my preference. I know some people like to eat a lot of stem. I don't. I keep just enough, so I took off quite a bit, and I think that'll be good. So yeah, I'll actually just dump it all in because it'll cook down. So then, yeah, that's cooking. And I just turn that on, and so then on this skillet, I just put it onto, like, there's a setting that's called Keep Warm, and then there's like 300 degrees. So I just put it on that, and then I just look over at my sauces, and this is Annie's Asian sesame dressing, and so it does have like it does have some oil in it, but not a lot. So I just shake it up, and after it's cooked down a little bit, I'll add about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons full of that in there. That's Lucy in the back.
Yeah.
And then the teriyaki sauce I like to put over the chickpeas, just to give them a little bit of flavor.
Yeah, this gives a little sweetness and a little saltiness.
Yeah, just a little bit of flavor to them. So I'm just going to let them kind of sit in that for a little bit.
And these are just garbanzo beans that you just came out of. They're organic.
Yeah, I did
And they're
wash
in
them off already.
And you rinsed them off. And now 365 has a BPA free lining, which is wonderful. Eden also does, but it's nice to see 365 follow Eden's practice of making removing the BPA or using BPA-free linings, because that is an endocrine disruptor.
Right, and I actually like Eden brand. It was actually out, so they don't get as much like shelf space.
Yeah.
And Whole Foods is like their own brand does.
Right.
So,
Right. That's great. So tell us about your running career. So you were a vegetarian. You grew up a vegetarian, you told me. So tell us a little bit about your vegan journey, and then let us know how that played into your athletics. Because I know you had some symptoms, and when you gave up eating, consuming dairy and consuming animals. So let us know your story.
yeah. So, like, when I was a child, we were like vegetarian, kind of off and on throughout. We weren't really red meat eaters. We grew up in the South, so that's kind of rare. And so I was just kind of like a picky eater, not big on eating meat as a kid. And then when I got to college, I went to UCLA to run track. They were,
Go Bruins.
Go Bruins. But they were kind of concerned, like the coaching staff, like, oh, if you don't eat meat in your diet, you're not gonna have enough protein. Too many girls end up anemic. You don't want those problems. And so I started eating like chicken and some fish. Being from the South, I never ate a lot of seafood, never had sushi, things like that. So started adding in meat, but then I noticed I had to be very selective about what meats I would eat, like before practice and before competitions, because they would like either leave me feeling heavy or just like this wouldn't sit well in my stomach. And that's just like, okay, wow, what's the point? Like, I knew if I had like morning races, I could not eat meat. I was always eating like some kind of carb. I loved oatmeal and stuff. So definitely was like battling to find ways to incorporate it. And then I just noticed if I wasn't careful with dairy products and sugar, like I was, college diet, I was eating like all kinds of candy, like Sour Patch Kids, chocolate, just crazy dorm food all the time. And then I started getting sick. So I had like pneumonia one year, I had ear infections, I had dental problems, a lot of throat issues. So strep throat, tonsillitis, and when I was just trying to recover and I was taking so many antibiotics, I realized like, okay, I need to cut some of this sugar and this dairy out, and then I would have less mucus. And I did eventually have to get my tonsils removed, but for sure when I started cleaning up my diet and getting rid of some of that excess sugar, it helped a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add in these chickpeas, because these vegetables won't need a whole lot more to cook. So So yeah, so cutting out the dairy for sure helped. And my teammates and I, you know, we just realized, like, with all the, like, the winds coming in, staying out of winds, we were just getting so dried out and a lot of phlegm and inflammation. So we all kind of, my training partners and I, we would all, like, get almond milk or soy milk and, you know, switch that out with our cereal, or maybe add that instead to our coffee, and just notice that we felt a whole lot better. And then hormonally, I felt better. Like, you know, like when you're competing and training as a woman, you don't want to have, like, really problematic, like, menstrual cycles and PMS. So for sure, just getting rid of, like, that hormone disruptor, like in the milk products, definitely helped with that. And as I got older, you know, my metabolism changed and I still wanted to compete.
You're adding a little bit of water here.
Just a little bit of water.
You can move the yeah, there we go.
Just to add a little bit of moisture, because again, I'm not really trying to cook with oil. So not a lot.
So this is a water saute.
Yeah, nice water saute.
And we have, let me just break for a second. We have a nice little studio audience. Hello. Hello there.
That's Lucy.
Hey, Lucy. Hey, Lucy. There we go. Hey, sweetie. Aw, you're coming in the kitchen to say
Lucy
hi.
loves chickpeas, so that's why she's mad. Normally I throw her some. Hey, no, sweetie.
All right.
Normally I throw her some chickpeas, so that's why she's mad.
Yeah, my dog loves chickpeas too. In fact, my dog's vegan.
Oh,
But anyway,
yeah.
let's get back to your story.
Lucy's not there yet. Are you, Lucy? She's the only meat eater in this house. So, yeah. So we started making those substitutions, and then, so yeah, when I got back into competition and was just trying to, like, maintain my weight and just maintain my energy, like, it was so hard working, you know, 12-hour days, 10-hour days, you know, being very physical at my job and then trying to train. And so definitely was like, no, I'm cutting out the meat, and I became pescatarian. And was just also not eating eggs or eating dairy.
So this is in college?
No, this was probably about 25.
Okay, so after college.
After college. So I'd been pescatarian for about 3 years before going full vegan. And I actually, you know, I felt okay on that. But, you know, there were just times eating, like, you know, heavy amounts of it. And then just kind of as I got, you know, just more hip and educated to, you know, veganism and, you know, the ethics of it and what it was about, I was just like, man, like, you know, is it really necessary keeping the fish in the diet? You know, like, how much good is that doing me? And so, my boyfriend, who's also vegan, it was his idea, and he just went vegan cold turkey. I think he saw, like, What the Health, and maybe Earthlings. And
Oh, wonderful.
He came home and he was like, I'm done. And I was like, what? And he was just like, yeah, no, don't buy me any more meat. And we were spending so much money on his meat alone, just trying to, like, get, like, farm raised, not corn fed, da-da-da. And he's just like, all of that's, like, bogus, like, you really don't know what they're putting on these labels and all this stuff. He's just like, just cut it all out and we'll figure it out. So we started getting really creative with our cooking, and just trying to, like, find ways to implement more plant-based proteins. So it was like lentils, chickpeas, which I had never cooked with before. Yeah, definitely just, like, experimenting with the legumes and then little bits of nuts in our diet, and then
Well, because there's protein in absolutely everything you've used here. There's protein in rice.
Lots
There's
of protein
protein in the
broccoli.
garbanzo beans. Protein, cruciferous vegetables are very high in protein. In
Yeah.
fact, kale has more protein per calorie than meat.
right.
People don't even know. Protein per calorie, not per volume. So it's really amazing. Okay, Larissa Pham says, you guys are super cool. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And Nadia Tucker is watching from Phoenix, I think. And Debbie Chu, thank you so much for joining us. And George McQuaid is watching. He just turned in. And so we've got so many of our regular followers who've turned in. So tell us, what was the impact that you felt? You were pescatarian. So when you went from pescatarian to vegan, what was the impact on your athletic career?
More energy, just like, actually it was less stressful, because instead of, like, trying to find ways to, like, make, you know, fish not feel heavy on my stomach, or to make, you know, just some meat, you know, less of a problem, it was just easy to, like, I actually didn't have, like, any limits, you know, now that I was, like, vegan. So luckily for me, when I go to work at Google, they have, like, a big open, like, cafeteria bar, and they label everything, like, what's in it, the ingredients. And so I can go in there after I'm done teaching class, and if I'm on the rush, if I need some breakfast, I can grab, like, they have, like, roasted, like, broccoli and sweet potatoes sometimes. And so I'll have things like that for breakfast. And it's just like, and then I always just felt so much better eating vegetable, and it never dawned on me, like, oh yeah, you could have vegetable any time of the day. The body does not care. And
I mean, you know what's interesting is we're the only culture who doesn't eat vegetables for breakfast.
Right.
But when you look around the world, they're all eating vegetables for breakfast, and we're eating processed corn and grain in sugary cereals.
Like all this sugar for breakfast, and it was like, and then not having that crazy sugar spike, I wasn't as fatigued and tired. And then, you know, I love coffee. I'm definitely a coffee drinker, just out of like the ritual of it. But after becoming vegan, I realized like if I was just like in a hurry and rushing, I was fine without it. Like it was just like, you know, it might be like, oh, okay, wow, it's already like noon, and maybe I'll have like a cortado just because I want one. But definitely it wasn't like oh, I need to pick me up, I need energy.
There we go. Sorry, we lost it for a second. I got a message about sound. Is anybody having problems with the sound? Please write in the comments, and then we'll just continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try to talk louder. So yeah, I noticed just not having like my blood sugar spiking up and down all day. I felt a lot better. And then, you know how like if you eat like a heavy meal with like a lot of meat at lunch, then you're sort of struggling in the afternoon. And for me, like I have to be very energetic and, you know, very focused when I'm working with
And I just want to let everybody see how nice and thin you are and how muscular you are. You know, super muscular, super thin, and super fit. It looks like you probably have a very low percentage of body fat.
Yeah, I tend to be around 9%, which isn't like necessary for most women. But yeah, I definitely did not lose any muscle mass. I didn't have any problem with that. I hit a lot of my lifting PRs, like
What are PRs?
Personal records.
Okay.
After going vegan, so like deadlifting, I hit 300. You know, just pull, you know, like pound for pound, my body weight strength, like being able to do pull-ups, having my power, feeling explosive in my speed. I felt fine. A lot of people would ask me about recovery. And honestly, eating like the proteins and plants, it's more bioavailable. Like I just felt like I felt refueled. So I do use supplements, shake after workouts, and I'll add glutamine to it. If I feel like I'm going to be sore, like from a heavy lift or from sprinting workouts, I do a lot of vitamins and electrolytes just to replenish what my body loses. But you have to do that anyways, no matter what you eat. But I felt like it was just easier, you know, because I didn't get lazy about it. Because like when you know, if you eat meat, you just think, okay, yeah, cool, I'm good. But like, you know, now I'm definitely more mindful just to be sure I get in all those things. And yeah.
And how does this affect you in terms of your carbon footprint with respect to the environment and saving animals? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like we've like been in a drought for however long here in California, and definitely farming, the amount of water it takes to, to give to all the farm animals and to agriculture, that depletes water at a far greater rate than like we as humans could use, you know, washing our dishes or taking really long showers. So definitely felt good about that, not contributing to just like the loss of water.
And what about the cruelty aspect?
Oh yeah, and then of course, like just like the agony and just like the cruelty that those animals face. And like I'm very spiritual. I'm not necessarily religious, but I definitely believe that like you can't eat somebody that like lived in such agony and then put that into your body and not think that it causes some level of disruption like in yourself. And so definitely just feeling like a different clarity.
We're getting lots of hearts and lots of likes.
Yeah, like it's just like you can't feel, I don't know, I just like I definitely at least feel for myself I'm living with a better sense of integrity. And just like, I don't know, just feel better internally, just about how I'm living my life. And then, just like, how do you differentiate? Like, I love petting zoos, and then it's just like, you'd eat a lamb? Like, what? It was just like,
exactly.
It was just like, and then you just like, it was definitely like such a crazy paradigm shift. And then, you know, I think you just realize it's a business. It's like, it's a sick business, unfortunately, but both are in recovery. Both my brother and I have younger siblings who had cancer. And it's just amazing. You go to like these really expensive, nice research hospitals, what they feed you as you're like undergoing like chemotherapy. And everybody, like, you know, if you read enough studies, like World Health Organization found a correlation between the carcinogens in red meat and, you know, tumor growth, and then like sugar.
And actually the World Health Organization said that group 1 carcinogens, the processed meats, actually cause cancer. And that term cause is what they used.
And they give you like free, so like when you're a cancer patient, especially as a child, they give you like all these freaking free gift cards to like fast food restaurants and like Subway and just like, I mean, it's just like, it's freaking ludicrous.
Disconnect.
Like, it doesn't make, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what? Like, and so I'm just like, yeah, they benefit off of you continuing to be sick, and then, to have family members who have recurrence of it, and they ate the diet from the nutritionist. They give you a nutritionist too when you're a cancer patient, especially as children, and they give you these guidelines, and oh, you can't have this, oh, you can't have that, and then maybe they're worried about things with growth factors and stuff like that, but then it's like you still let them eat like freaking frozen French toast, like what? Right. And processed meat that that was like previously frozen. Like, it was so like dumb.
And when we look at some of the strongest, fittest animals on the planet, they're eating.
They're vegans.
They're
Gorillas,
vegans. They're eating
elephants. And
they're getting
so
all of their protein and all of their carbohydrate needs and fat needs, not from oil, but from the fat inherent within the plant foods that they eat.
Yeah, no one is like, I've never in working with clients, I've never signed up with anybody who had like a protein deficiency. It's just not happened. Like, you can be malnourished because you're not eating, period, but that you're sitting up protein deficient, no.
Well, when I address healthcare providers, including physicians, I ask them if they think that breastfeeding, human breast milk, is appropriate for infants. And of course, everyone thinks it is, and it is the best food for infants. And then I ask them, does anybody know what the percentage of calories due to protein are in human breast milk? And they all have like a frightened look on their face because they're not sure of the answer. And then I blurt out, it's 6%. Are we worried that the infants that we're feeding, that mothers are feeding their infant children, humans, breast milk, are they getting less protein? And the answer is no, they're getting just the right amount of protein.
Right, yeah. She's barking at me because I think she lost her ball.
Did you lose your ball? Did you lose your ball? Oh, look at her. Hey, Lucy.
Yeah, that's what she wanted. Yeah.
It's a protein. It's definitely a protein myth.
Yeah. Her ball rolls underneath the furniture. She gets mad.
All right. So how are we doing over here?
This is done. So I can So what I do to plate it. So it's
got the rice.
Fluffy rice. And I like carbs.
Yes, and starchy carbs are what our body is designed to work on. And the way to be satiated is to eat starchy carbs.
My body will deflate actually if I don't eat carbs, so I'm all for them. Especially I'll do probably 4 miles or so of tempo running tonight, and then I just
look at how beautiful this is. So you're using white sushi rice. This is not a problem that it's white. People may wonder why are we using white rice, but it's actually fine. And if you like brown rice, you can use brown rice. But
you can use brown rice.
But the most important thing is to have the starch, because that's going to satiate you. Because these vegetables have a very low caloric density. The caloric density of the broccoli and the other vegetables that you have in here, the peppers and the onions, is about 100 calories per pound. Yeah. And the rice brings it up to about 500 calories per pound, and that's really important.
And you can have that one.
The legumes are about 600 calories per pound. So they not only provide fiber and lots of nutrition and a very healthy starch for our gut bacteria. That's one of the reasons why starch-based diet is important, because our gut bacteria require the byproducts of metabolism from the starch and from all the vegetables. So if you keep your gut bacteria healthy, they will keep you healthy. I was responding because Sarah Siegel had a comment about starch, and I wanted to make sure our audience knows that starch, in fact, has been shown by evidence-based medicine to be very, very healthy for us, and required, in fact.
Yeah, and you do have to be mindful of what your lifestyle is like. Like, I do very little sitting period in my day, unless I'm commuting from one job to the next, or maybe I do a little bit of computer work at home, but I don't really sit more than 4 hours total at all, ever. And then I'm training quite a bit. I do kind of participate loosely when I'm teaching and working with my clients. Sometimes I run with them, or I'll do part of their warm up, or just with all the demonstrating. So for me, if I don't have those carbohydrates
on board,
I won't feel energized. And then it's low glycemic. My blood sugar doesn't get spiked off of off of the white rice, especially when I eat it with vegetables. And then, just be mindful of your portions. I don't really have to worry too much about portions.
Well, when you're eating a plant-based diet, and if you keep the oils low, then really you can eat as much as your stomach will allow, because the fiber will fill you up.
Yeah.
For a normal eater, if somebody has an eating disorder, then all bets are off. It's a different story. But for people who are normal eaters, you should feel full after a meal like this. I know I will be full. I'm going to get a bowl of this. I'm so excited to have it.
This is definitely really filling. And then I mean, if I have a snack, maybe I have like an apple and a little bit of almond butter, or I, just like a little. Sometimes I'll eat like a little bit of like a little baggie of nuts, like I have some almonds or something. But then I'm usually good until dinner time, just because then I'm so busy anyways. And then I eat dinner about like 7 o'clock or so, and then dinner might be something heavier. So probably curry tonight for dinner, and then like the coconut milk in it just gives me like, I do like the fats after at the end of the day. So yeah. So
that helps you. Well, that's wonderful. So tell us what you do with Google. Are you a corporate wellness fitness expert? Do you provide classes? Is that what you were doing with Google?
Yeah, so EXOS has the contract with Google. I work for EXOS, and so I teach like a metabolic conditioning class in the morning. They have like a really cool facility, like anything that they could possibly need as an employee they have there. But yeah, so it's cool. But it's cool. I get to like at least access the campus, and I can use the gym, and I take a yoga class there sometimes if I have free time. So
that's great.
I get some of the perks.
Yeah. So Google is over in Venice. It's probably about what, 2-3 miles from here.
2 miles from here. Yeah. There's 2 campuses. There's the Playa campus. So sometimes I'm there, the one off Bluff Creek. Lucy, the one off Bluff Creek, and then there's the one on Rose.
Yeah.
Did you lose it again? Oh no, you have it.
No, she has her ball. You have your ball. Let's see your ball. There you go. That's great. And then tell us about preparing for the Olympics in 2020.
Yeah.
What are you able to share with us?
Well, just that I am beginning like my base loading, so just getting a lot of mileage in. Starting out with my training program. Jeff Wilson out of Denver, he writes my program. So right now I'm just trying to figure it out with work, and then I'll begin racing in the spring. I might do some races, indoor races in the wintertime just to tune out, but I'll probably really start racing in the spring to see where my fitness is, make the necessary adjustments. This year there's not Olympic trials or anything. You qualify the year of the games. So this year is the World Championship, and you can go to USA Nationals, and then there's subsequently there's like a pro season in Europe if you want to go. And those are a lot of fun. So I'll just kind of see like how my fitness is and how my body's doing. I feel healthy. I'm having injuries or anything. I feel pretty good. Usually it's just like work and time.
And this is possible. And what's incredible about this is you're about 10 years out of college.
Oh yeah, I'm 31. So
that's fabulous. Well,
so I'm just having fun with it.
Dotsie Bausch with Switch for Good, who's the founder of Switch for Good, won an Olympic medal. She won the silver medal in cycling, and she was just under 40 at the time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And she attributes being vegan and dairy-free to her achievements and for keeping her younger. So I think you are going to do incredible. I think you have an incredible, another career ahead of all the championships that you've already won. Any closing thoughts for our audience?
Yeah, hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. And yeah, just, I mean, even if you can't become fully vegan, try like a meatless Monday. Like, just try it day by day. When we first started, we initially were only going to do it for a week. And then we said, okay, we'll stretch it out to a month and we'll just see how we feel. And then we just never stopped. So maybe don't overwhelm yourself feeling like, oh, I have to be all in right now. A lot of my friends, I just encourage them to do 1 to 2 days a week just to give their bodies a break and to just have fun, like getting familiar with your food and creative with plant-based proteins. Because you'll feel better regardless. Even if you don't go all the way in, you'll feel better. So. Well, thank you very much, Krishna Curry, for joining us. And it was delightful having you on our collaboration between Switch for Good and Lunch Break Live. We hope to see you again in the future. Thank you so much. Thank you. Lisa Karlan reporting for Jane Unchained. Bye-bye.